Many of our elderly friends, family members spent the pandemic in isolation away from those who might be carrying COVID-19.
Many of those at the highest risk are veterans, but even during these trying times, one World War II veteran from Central Texas is staying positive. KXAN's Nabil Ramadna shares his story.
Gregory has seen a lot in his 100 years.
The world has changed a lot.
Born during the Spanish flu, he's now living through another pandemic. But his advice?
Wake up in the morning, have an optimistic attitude about the day.
And you can't forget about laughter. That helps too. Gregory is a proud veteran, serving in the military for more than 35 years. The Air Force, to be exact, with service in the Korean War, Vietnam, and World War II.
And I was flying P-38s at that time. It was a very fast airplane.
He even flew during the Cuban Missile Crisis, a man who served his country proudly, but who never forgets those who didn't make it home.
Quite a few lost their lives as part of the contact with the enemy. So I feel sorry for those individuals and their families.
Each year, the honor flight takes veterans to Washington, D.C. for a day. Gregory was able to make the flight a few years ago.
I was happy to be a part of that, and I think all of us that were on the honor flight enjoyed that very much.
The organization highlighting and honoring the service of our nation's finest.
And to give them that experience, I think is something that came as such a gift to our family.
This year, though, with the pandemic, flights were canceled, and there's no certainty when the honor flights will resume. Many of those veterans, like Gregory, have also been isolated in retirement homes. His daughter Cookie says the isolation has been hard on them.
For most of this time, I haven't been able to see him at all.
But Gregory is a fighter, and don't forget about that positive attitude.
I'm always optimistic that things will improve.
We determined together he was not going to come in the middle of one pandemic and leave in the middle of another.
For Veterans Voices, Nabil Ramadna, back to you.
Honor Flight Austin says that they do have flights booked for the spring, but it will be a wait-and-see approach depending on how things are going with the pandemic. Over the next week, we'll focus on sharing these untold stories of our friends and family who've served. It's part of a special series of reports that we call Veterans Voices. You can see more stories like this on our website right now. Go to KXAN.com and look for the Veterans Voices link under the News tab.